Okay, let us start. Yes, before I forget, on Monday we will do a Q&A session. Huh? Then you send the question to Sister Hun Ling. Okay, you send to this number for all the Dhamma questions. Huh? That will be the last session. Okay. After that, I got things are coming up. All right. Now, where were we? We were at some of the Anupassana. So the last one we talked about was, let me see, where were we? Okay, let me change the from. Okay. All right. Okay, written principle insight. Share. All right. Okay. So on Monday, yes. On Monday, we were looking into the number of things, the rest of the Anupassana that we have not seen. So we start off with that fading away. Yeah, this is the one. We start off with fading away, cessation, relinquishment, until the number 7. As I said, from number 1 to number 7, they are in a way kind of complete. So many times in the suttas or also in the commentary, they talk about these 7 types of anupassana. As they look into these 7 anupassana. So there are also like the rest of the contemplations, the rest of the notings, in the sense that they are not that much talked about. All right. We were talking about the fading away. Yeah, fading away, which abandoned the greed. Now here is delighting versus greed. This is the one. And then we have this viraga, we have destructional dispassion, which is the 8, between 8 and 9, somewhere there. Then we have this complete dispassion. But in viraga nupassana, we are looking at number 1. Because as I said, nibbana, it is not an anupassana. There's no impermanence, there's no dukkha, there's no anicca, there's no dukkha. So it cannot be seen into the arising and passing away. Then here we have this contemplation of cessation, nirodha nupassana. The nirodha nupassana, we see again there are 2 types, destructional cessation and complete cessation. Destructional cessation here, it's when a yogi becomes very oppressed and in a way disenchanted with all the mental and physical processes and also everything else. Then the mind look for deliverance, look for cessation. And then when he achieved that cessation, which is again, this is a temporary cessation, is destruction in the sense that they are the arising and passing away. When a yogi sees it, it actually looks like it ceased, it disappears. But as I said, this is not a complete cessation yet because he hasn't come with a path and fruition. Anyway, that type of cessation, actually when they look at it, there's still a arising and passing away a little bit, which is very, very subtle. Okay? Number 7. Number 7 here is the contemplation of relinquishment, Patinisaga Anupassana. Patinisaga Anupassana. He abandons the grasping. Here we grasp again, here we grasp to the formations. We are grasping to the formations, we're grasping to the arising and passing away. In other words, we're grasping to the self, soul, everything. Then with this type of contemplation, then by reflection and maturity at the knowledge of equanimity towards formation, sankhara upekkha, then we kind of like we let go of all of them, whether it's pleasant, unpleasant. Then we enter, that means we enter into nibbana, or one realized nibbana. Okay. Number 8. Okay, let's start for today's talk. Now, today's talk, there will be quite a lot of the 5th insight knowledge. Here, we talk about number 8, the 8th contemplation. One who develops the contemplation of destruction, kaya, abandons perception of compactness. And the word is Khaya, so the kaya anupassana, not kaya anupassana. The kaya it's within satipatthana. This one you got a little bit of aspirated, I think. So the pronunciation is slightly different. So it makes a different thing altogether in Pali. Anyway, all right. So here, this one again here, contemplation of destruction, it means here the maturity of the 5th insight knowledge. The 5th insight knowledge is the knowledge of dissolution. When the word dissolution also is like, also sometimes they translate as cessation also. Sometimes some people. Because in a way that it also goes into kind of like disappearance, At this stage of this knowledge of dissolution, usually a yogi does not see the beginning and the middle. Not to say that they don't see, but it's not clear. It's not a prominent aspect of it. The prominent aspect of it will be at the end. That means that you happen to see a phenomena, let's say a sensation of the rising or falling, During that time, that rising and falling, let's say, then you see the end of the falling very clearly. But how does the rising arises? How was it in the middle? It is not so clear. But at the end, it becomes very clear. So at the end becomes very clear, then it only sees that things are going into disappearing, dissolution. And every time he turns to his attention to anywhere in the noticing this mind and body processes, even when he moves his arm, he only sees not the intention also at this time not so clear. The movement of the arms, it is there, but towards he wants to end the movement, then he sees there's a lot of sensation, a lot of arising, passing away. Then the movement comes to stop. Or it comes to what we call, in a way, destruction or dissolution. So every time he turns his mind here and there, now he noticed these things happening. Depending on the yogi, some yogi sees the body first, how it ends, but it does not see the mind, how it ends. Some yogis see how the mind ends. That means he noticed, for example, the thinking. He noticed thinking, but how the thinking begin and how the thinking stay and what story he doesn't know. so much. Yeah? But at the end of that thinking, he sees there's a lot of arising and passing away, and how the thinking kind of like coming to a stop. It disappear. It gone. Then another thinking arises, but this time again he couldn't able to catch the beginning of the thinking or the middle of the thinking. But again he sees how the thinking keep on disappearing, arising and passing away, and then after that it fades off. It sees clearly how it fades off, it disappears. So here the yogi sees either at the mind process or at the physical process. He hasn't come into both together yet. But then if the yogi becomes to keep on practicing and so on, then at this knowledge of dissolution, then both of them, of this physical and mental process, will come together. In the sense that now, when you pay attention, the mind is so able to notice that the body and the mind arises and passes away completely together. At this time again, when it happens, it sees the disappearance much more clearer than the beginning or in the middle. So it sees all this ending of the process, and both ends together and they disappear. And then after that, both arises again. It's quite an interesting, this one. An interesting insight, actually. So the yogi will keep on noticing this way when in the maturity of that particular insight is that when they see the both of it coming dissolution simultaneously, the mind and the bodily processes. So here when a yogi notices these things, then the yogi also notice it as a very strong and deep anicca nupassana. It's not just arising and passing away at this time, but it's the destruction, it's the disappearance. Everything he notices, everything just sort of like going into destruction, dissolution in that sense. Some yogis notice it like things are breaking up. Some people notice it like fading away. Some people notice it like, going like falling off from a cliff, You notice, boom, everything gone. And sometimes, even like Mahasi Sayadaw mentioned that sometimes at this knowledge, there are sometimes certain yogis are thinking that their meditation is something wrong. Because in the past, they could able to see the beginning, the middle. But then this time, it's only the end that is appearing very clearly and the beginning, middle, not so clear. So that the yogi may sometimes have doubt about why is it that this thing is happening? Why is it that happening? Then again, the teacher will be very helpful. An experienced teacher or a competent teacher will be very helpful at this time. So it helps you to clear the doubt away and then just continue, which is actually the yogi is doing right, actually. Just clear the doubt away, just keep noting, and then things become clearer. Yeah, clearer in the sense that actually after this one, things become even more haywire. Not clear. I mean, it's clear, but more haywire in the sense that when you see a lot of dissolution and everything, then you start to feel something is wrong and something fearful is coming up, which is the next knowledge, you see. Because everything is keep on going into disappearance, and then something you are having a lot of doubt in your practice, fearful and so on. Anyway, now here, as I said, this is a very strong anicca nupassana. It's a very clear anicca nupassana. Also here, it's that the perception of compactness, it abandons the perception of compactness. Here also it relates back to the four solidity or the four compactness that we talked about it before. Where did we talk about that? Okay, go a little bit higher. Mana dia pergi? Here? No. Somewhere. Let me see where we were. Here. Seeing as they really are, that one is in the 15, okay? Now, misinterpretation because that we see the compactness of continuity or solidity of continuity. Compactness of mass or solidity of mass or compactness of function, compactness of object. So now here also he begin to see this, the continuity keep on breaking off, keep on going into destruction, going into dissolution. And then the next new one come in totally with the new mind, totally with the new physical process, new mental process, new physical process. After that, they go into destruction. After that, new one and they see a new one and the old one disappear, new one, old one disappear. Something. Then they see the compactness of solidity. It's like breaking up. That's the breaking up is much more clearer than in the beginning of the meditation practice. When in the meditation practice, when we begin, as I said a number of times, when you do the walking meditation, then we see the leg is the movement is not just one, but there are several different stages of movement, one after another, one after another. Yeah? So that is a little bit of breaking up. But this one, the breaking up of the continuity is so much more deeper, and therefore it sees the anicca. Yeah? Okay, we go down. Yeah? Okay. So here we see that we're breaking up all the perception of compactness. So this one, again here, as I said, this is connected to anicca nupassana. It's an extension, it's another mode of anicca nupassana. So just to remind you all again, this 18 principles of insight, they are overlapping each other. They are not just like one insight, there's one perception or one anicca or one dukkha. No, it's a multiple ways of looking at anicca, multiple ways of looking at anatta, multiple ways of looking at dukkha, and then therefore with the multiple ways, they give different names towards it. As the text, they got 2,500 years of knowledge, to give all these things. Okay, number 9. Again, number 9 is the same as number 5, but it's a slightly different way of looking at things. Yeah? Contemplation of destruction and contemplation of fall, Vayanupassana and Kayanupassana, they are, in a way, they are same knowledge over here. Again here, this is dissolution by mental and bodily processes. But this time is by inferential vipassana. Okay? Inferential vipassana. Now, inferential vipassana, there are two types of vipassana. Okay? Now, let you all see this one. Now, when it comes to vipassana insights, when we are doing vipassana insights, we are taught to note an object. You not, Jackie, not apple, not a man, not my, next day you not again, You not the whole day, everything you wake up, you not, you eat, you not. That is where we want to train you in the empirical insight. In the beginning, we use the words to help you, to direct you. For your mind is not able to have those concentration very clearly. So we need that labeling to help us for the mind to be directed onto the object. When you're beginning of the training of this Vipassana, the labeling process is very helpful. It directs the mind there. And this directing the mind towards the object, we don't do it throughout our samsara. So our mind is not familiar of how to do this type of meditation. In all samsara, we have not done all this. If you have done this Vipassana, matured enough, you could have been enlightened in the past, But no. So we need that labeling in the beginning part, So in order for the mind to be directed to the object. So when the mind can able to direct on the object again and again and again and again, then you begin to see how the object begin to change, how the object arises, it comes, how the rising, how the falling, how the in-breath, how the out-breath, whether the in-breath goes slower, out-breath go faster, whether it's warm in-breath, cold out-breath, whether the in-breath, out-breath go in the straight line, go in the sideways. What happened to the in-breath, out-breath? What happened to the whole rising and falling? Is the rising, falling going round? Is it going straight? And so on. So when you learn how to pay attention in this way, this is what we call the empirical direct or empirical knowledge. Direct and personalized knowledge. You directly see it. You directly see it. Although in the beginning part we use the labeling just so that your mind can stay there. But later part when you begin to more mature, with the labeling process we also drop it away. Only bear attention on noting the object. Bear attention, clear attention, the mind able to see whatever that's arising, passing away, changing and so on. That time the mind not necessarily able to run away, able to see it. The thinking mind, the disturbing mind, all this become very, very minimal. Sleepiness become very little or none at all. So the whole mind can able to note the objects very clearly. The time you sit down, you adjust everything, the object is already waiting for you. All you need to do is bring the attention there, prepare, and everything will change to let you see. So all these things, all this while we are doing this way, it's called empirical insight, empirical knowledge, direct experience. Not by thinking, not by pondering. All right, not by thinking, not by pondering, not think by the suttas or the Dhamma or ponder upon anicca and so on. No, that is not empirical knowledge. What we learn here right now is not empirical knowledge. It's not direct knowledge. Direct knowledge, you sit down, you keep quiet, you shut the mind up, you keep your mind quiet and pay attention to your object. That is empirical knowledge. Make it very clear to all of you. Because there are two extremes of the yogi. First extreme of the yogi is that they don't want to use labeling. Even they are beginner of the practitioner. They don't want to use labeling. They thought that labeling is all concept. All concept. So sometimes they learn about too much Abhidhamma. I cannot have concept. No. They don't want to have concept. They just want to have straight away they want to go direct experience. And this type of yogi, their progress is going to be very slow. Very slow. Because the mind is not trained to note. So they got nothing to hold them on to. So there's one. Again, is that the other extreme of the yogi is that they don't want to pay attention to the direct object. They don't want to pay attention. They want to think of something else. They want to think of something else, thinking about the things that they read and so on. Because that one is more interesting to them. More interesting to them. And, just noting the pain. What is there to see in the pain? After all, if many of us may think that what is there to see in the pain? Pain is just pain. What is there some more? So sometimes even like empirical knowledge is that they are very selective of what they want to see. Sometimes like mind and bodily processes. Oh, I don't want to see the body. I don't want to see the body. I want to see the mind process only. I want to see the mental process only. And then you want to see the mental process. Because the mental process only can give rise to enlightenment. So what for the body? Not necessarily the body. Put it all aside the body. That also is another problem. And then another yogi, another extreme is that I want to see the body only and the mind not need to see yet. Mind not need to see. I'm Mahasi method. My Mahasi method. Only see rising and falling only. Nothing else. Only rising, falling can give me enlightenment. Nothing else. That also is another problem. That also is another problem. Although, as I said, finally we have to see all this empirical insight in many ways. In many ways that is going to show you. And then, what else? Yes, something like that. Okay, all right. Now, now, another one is called the inferential knowledge. This is anumana. After gaining empirical knowledge, one expands it conceptually to the level, accordance to the level of the empirical knowledge. Okay, all right. Now, this one, inferential knowledge here, means that after you pay attention to all these type of things, now sometimes yogi may, I use the word, may want to expand or want to conceptualize what they have seen. What they have seen. And then when they conceptualize it, that means it's going into the inferential knowledge. But you have to be careful at this number 2. Just don't overdo. But anyway, we're going to talk about it now. Now this one, inferential knowledge, when it comes to, let's say, dissolution simultaneously of the mind and bodily process. What happens when the yogi gains the direct knowledge, personal knowledge, seeing this arising and passing away, and going into breaking up, dissolution, and so on, Now, during that time, because he sees it not one time, he sees it many times this way, then after some time, the mind may extrapolate, the mind may be expanded to the past, to the future also, that in the past also, that this mind and bodily processes keep on going into dissolution, keep on going into disappearance. It never stops. And then after that, it goes in the future, that will keep on going if we are still in samsara. Then he explains it in that sense. Then in that way, it's called inferential knowledge. Anumana. Okay? Many ways we can do this inferential knowledge from first insight right up to the 13th insight, actually, according to the text line, But not necessary for us to do all the time. The mind, in a way, it will do it on its own. But here, when it do it on its own, sometimes when you look at something, sometimes your mind want to comment on what is going on, isn't it? Wow, like that, nah. Then tomorrow, got interview, I'm going to tell the Sayadaw, I'm going to tell the teacher, I'm going to tell Bhante how I experienced this thing. Yes, in a way, this is a description, but at times that you may think that, hey, yeah, this anicca, I'm looking at this anicca, I'm looking at the dukkha right now. Well, sometimes we go through all those things, not that we don't need to go through all those things. So those things are in a way called inferential knowledge. It goes on our own. But normally we don't talk about it because for most of us, once we start thinking, bo stop liao. Once start thinking only, after that, although the trick of the mind is this, once you look at what is going on, okay, this is anicca, okay, good. At least you infer it correctly, anicca, and then after that, the mind forget about noting. Then after that, it connects that inferential knowledge. Then it expand it to your sutta, to your this one, and then the whole hour you sit there. You 15 minutes only you note. And then after that, 45 minutes you think about your sutta, you think about your present, you think about your past for so long. Then you're not noting anymore. Yeah. So you all got to be careful. This one. You got to be very careful. So if you just go in your meditation from first insight without this inferential knowledge, also does not matter. You also gain enlightenment also. Inferential knowledge, normally for a lot of yogis, it also pop up after we notice what is going on with the meditation experiences that we have. So as I said here, we got to be very careful of this inferential knowledge because it's going into conceptual already. Going to conceptual. Yeah. Now, sometimes some yogis, the conceptual idea is stronger. Sometimes some yogis not so strong. They don't conceptualize these things so much. They already seen, they just keep on passing through already. So they don't think about it too much. One of the area that they want to think of, especially for those who are, not just go and meditate. That I'm talking about those yogis want to like. The enlightenment or nothing one, that type of yogi. One of the problem with this inferential knowledge and connected to this type of yogi is where they want to judge their own practice according to the insight knowledge or the 16 insight knowledge. No, they not a little bit. Take up the book, see where am I right now? Is it here? Or is it there? Or is it at the Sankaropeka now? Or is it at the knowledge of this and that? For a lot of us, we do that. And then after that, we overthink the whole thing. And we over-conceptualize, overthink, and then and sometimes we believe or we wrongly believe ourselves, then we overestimate our practice. Sometimes we, especially like the 10 imperfections of insight, Vipassana Upakilesa, that one's, although you gain some meditation development, but you overestimate it because you think too much of your own practice. So you got to be careful for this inferential knowledge. So one has to be careful. Now, inferential knowledge also, we see that it also in the Satipatthana Sutta. The internal and external. Internal here means empirical oneself. How do you see the arising? How do you see the passing away? How do you see the both arising and passing away internally? That means you see it oneself. Externally, inferential. Here, after you practice and meditate, then we know that in others also they have these 5 aggregates. Their 5 aggregates also arising and passing away. Their 5 aggregates go into oppression. Their 5 aggregates also goes into dissolution and so on. So whatever that you have meditated, whatever I meditated here in the Satipatthana, also it's mentioned internal and external, inferential. Usually they use the word internal, external. Sometimes there are some teachers who explain that this word external doesn't mean external people. They say that it is still on your own, but as if like you become like disconnected from your noting. I mean, you become very disconnected, as if like you are standing like out there and watching all your mental and physical process in that sense. External, in that sense. But according to the commentary, this is not the way. This is not the way. External means it's an inferential. That means it's by conceptually after you gain some direct or personal experiences of this meditation. Now this external also, or this inferential knowledge also, it can come in way much later. Way much later. You may be after your retreat also, you think back about your gaining, what the insight that you have gained or the understanding that you have developed. Then by that understanding, you applied it to what you have read in the suttas and so on. Then you gain sometimes deeper understanding about the sutta. Not just only on the normally when we don't meditate, we see sutta or the suttas at one level, but when we meditate, we see the sutta in another level. So here, the empirical knowledge and inferential knowledge become very hand in hand, although they are quite far in the time scale. So this is on the Vipassana insights. So here, as I said, this according to this one. So here, one develops the contemplation of fall of formations. Why abandons the accumulation? This is the bracket here of karma. So he begins to see that all the processes, the bodily processes and so on. Then in the future, when in the coming practice, and every time he sees that there's arising and passing away, then there's always like dukkha is going to wait for you. Dissolution is going to wait for you. Cessation is everything is going to wait for you. Everything is keep on. That means, in other words, he wants to abandon that type of accumulation. At least the perception of accumulation of all our joy and happiness and so on is not interesting to the person anymore, to the yogi anymore. So therefore, it abandons accumulation of karma. All right. Now, we have also number 14. Okay, we go to the next one, number 14. The rest of it, let me go up here. The rest of it, like for example, we've seen the change. There's viparinama. This can be connected to anicca or dukkha. Signless we also see, desireless we also see, sunya also we also see. Then here is animita, it is actually anatta. Anicca, impermanence. Desireless, apanihita is dukkha, voidness or emptiness is anatta. And as I said again, this voidness doesn't mean that there's nothing there. It's just the formation does not comes with self, soul, I, and so on. It's just cause, conditioning, and so on, and effects. 15 also we have seen, correct knowledge and vision. Here is Yata Bhuta Jnana Dasanam. Here we see the first insight, the second insight belongs to this what you call correct knowledge and vision. Purification of view. Here. Adinawa also we have seen right in the when we talk about the dukkha. When we talk about dukkha, we talk about a number of types of dukkha as you go along the development or progressiveness of the area of dukkha in the 16 insight knowledge. Patisankha also the same thing. We also talk about it. That means this one we re-look into the anicca, dukkha, anatta again. Just to give you the understanding. Now let me go back to this one. All right, here. Number 10, knowledge of reobservation. Yes, we talk about it. Yeah. So knowledge of danger or misery, also we talk about it. So all these things falls under dukkha. Falls under dukkha. Okay, that one we talk about it quite a lot. All right. Now let us see which one we haven't touched. Okay, sorry. Go back to this one. Okay. Now I want to go to this number 14. We go to this number 14. Insight into states that is higher wisdom. Okay, let us go to this number 14. Number 14 again. Here it looks at insight number 5. The fifth insight knowledge, the knowledge of dissolution again. One who develops the insight into states that is higher wisdom. Adipata Dhamma Vipassana. Abandons misinterpreting or insistence due to grasping at a core. As grasping at a core. Now here again is the matured insight knowledge of the fifth insight knowledge. Now the fifth insight knowledge here, in the earlier part we talk about anicca-nupassana. You look at it at anicca-nupassana. Dissolution simultaneously of the mind and bodily processes. That means you look at the both process of the mind and the bodily processes disappearing together or dissolution, going into dissolution. They are together simultaneously. So this is at the matured insight, very strong insight already right now. But at this time, instead of looking at it as anicca, now the perception of anatta becomes clear to the yogi. Right? Even that particular insight, that anatta becomes clear to the yogi. Usually this is not so prominent. It's the anicca that is the destruction, it becomes more prominent. Here when you look at it as perception of emptiness, because that every time that it goes into disappearance, every time it goes into dissolution, every time it all fading away and disappearing, then there is no there is no I to hold on to, or I that is controlling it. There's no a self, a controller that is doing all those things. Everything is going on its own. Everything is going on its own. You turn your head, it happens. You move your arms, it happens. Everything that you do, it happens in that way. So during that time, the perception of non-self also becomes strong. So that's why he called insight into a higher state of higher wisdom, because it sees non-self a little bit. Therefore, when he sees non-self, he doesn't see there's a core. Everything is going on their own. Everything is disappearing on their own. Nothing at the core there. There's no core at all. Now here, grasping at the core, Now, grasping at the core here, sometimes even meditators have a misinterpretation, especially in the beginning of the meditation practices, the meditation practice. Like, for example, the pain that you are noting. Now, some of us, not the pain, not the pain, no. Sometimes we are thought that there must be a core that is giving rise to all the pain, So sometimes a certain instructor or certain teachers, they ask the yogi, hey, pain, you watch the pain? Correct. But you must go and look at the core. Where is the core that gives rise to all the pain? As if like every pain that is going to come up, there must be a core. So the concept of something is there is still entrenched being entrenched in the yogi. And sometimes the yogi feel comfortable about looking for that core, and it's not right to do that. Because sometimes or actually a lot of times, the pain, there's no like something that emanating out towards the whole leg or towards the whole body. No, it's just pain in a different area and it's widespread, perhaps. There's no core. Or sometimes it is a very pointed pain. Yes, it's a very pointed pain, and then you could feel the surrounding it is a little bit less painful, but there's a pain, there's a very strong pain, like right in the center there. So sometimes with that, sometimes we thought that every pain there must be something that is coming out from it. That must be the core. So not necessarily all the time it's like that. Sometimes once in a while it can come in like that, but not all the time like that. So just don't think of it like whenever we do Vipassana meditation, there must be something deeper inside there. When your mind is not ready to see anything deeper, your mind is not ready yet. Nibbana exists right now in a way that you just cannot see it. Why? Because your mind is not ready yet. Why? The insight is not ready, everything is not ready. So when you are ready, when the mind is ready, you can able to notice all these things. It's just like, compared to you have a one candle light. How much candlelight one candlelight can see? How far you can see? Cannot. Then if you have, let's say, 1,000 or million candlelights, how much you can see? You can see a lot. So to our wisdom also the same thing. Our wisdom also the same thing. The more that we can see, the more that you can able to notice whatever that is going on in this mind and body process. So if you are not ready, there's nothing for you to see, nothing much for you to see. Therefore, just like when we have all this delusion, when we do not practice, do not meditate, or lacking of practice, or not enough practice, always we think that there must be a self, a core, something there, something controlling, something this one. Okay, so that one is in a way important. But when you come into this stage of the fifth insight knowledge, therefore we don't see the core really at all at this time, because everything goes into destruction, or it going to fall away, it going into disappearance, and so on. So the perception of emptiness or void or non-self becomes clear to the yogi. So that is called insight into the states that is higher wisdom. Actually, there's no anupassana here, The word, there's no anupassana, there's no contemplation. It's just this one. So therefore, that's why I don't know, but we don't know why. Doesn't matter. All right, we turn to the last of the 18 principle of insight, number 18. One who develops the contemplation of turning away, vivata, abandons misinterpreting or insistence due to bondage. This one, number 18 and number 7 is almost the same thing. It's almost the same. 7 is, for those who are this one, yes, the 7 is the relinquishment, the last one where we talked on last week. Oh, not last week, so on Monday. So you relinquish what? Relinquish as in entering, as in giving up and entering into. Yes, letting go and entering into. So it's the same thing. It's kind of like a different name only. Here, there's a slightly different explanation according to the commentaries. Here, the word is turning away. Vivata nupassana, contemplation of turning away. Vivata nupassana. Here, the turning away, according to the commentary, this is at knowledge number 11, equanimity of formation, and also knowledge of adaptation. Now, knowledge number 11, it's a repetitive knowledge. That means it has to be repeated again and again and again and again. You're seeing Sankara Upeka, arising, passing away again and again and again and again. But knowledge of adaptation is different. Knowledge of adaptation is just only a single consciousness and is already passed through to the next consciousness, which is the 13th insight knowledge, change of lineage. And then after that, the 14th insight will be the path consciousness. The 15th is the friction consciousness, or path and friction. So, why they say that turning away belongs to either 12 or some commentary says that it belongs to the next knowledge, knowledge of change of lineage. I think I better go out, stop this sharing, and I go to the next slide, the other slide. If not, a lot of you already, mong cha already, I think. Never mind. Let me see this thing for you. Okay. Let me go into this one. All right. Okay, leading into emergence. Let me share the screen again. Share screen. Okay. Are you seeing the insight leading to emergence, right? Okay. All right, good. Now again here, what happened is this knowledge of conformity or adaptation, which is number 12, the CN over here. Right here. Now, this one is only a single knowledge only. A single consciousness, just like the next knowledge of CH called the change of lineage, also a single consciousness. Path, also a single consciousness, then after that you followed by 2 friction if you are this average mentality. So what happens here when he says that this is a turning away? Turning away means that at the knowledge of equanimity, the VA, before the VA, let's say is here, when it happens here, you already turn away from dukkha and joy and sukha and everything else. Your mind already turned away already. Because at that time, the knowledge of equanimity of formations, it does not look into all this anything anymore. It doesn't mean that it don't look into. It saw those things that previously that give rise to joy or oppression or fear to you, but this time it can able to look at it a very equanimous, neutral, very clear state of mind. So that means, in other words, the mind is already turning away. So when it enters into the stream of towards enlightenment already, that means when it starts to get into CN here, that means when this process starts, it will not stop already. I don't know. You will come to this one. The problem is that to reach here is very difficult. But the moment that you reach, it will stop already. It will go into the path and friction already. Yeah? So once you touch on this C end here, it will definitely, actually when start of PR here, everything will start already. But they don't call the PR, the adverting consciousness and so on as all these things. So anyway, once it starts here, it will end at Nibbana. You will realize Nibbana already. So it kind of like turns away from the samsara. It turns away from samsara because samsara is bondage. It bonds you. So this one, it frees you. It frees you and enter into realization of Nibbana. So now, the other explanation about the turning away, another explanation of turning away, Vipattanupassana, they say that this only at this knowledge number 13, change of lineage here. Now the word change of lineage also can be looked at turning away because here you turn away from Puthujjana, for example, and you turn into, you look into the noble path. Or you turn away from samsara and then you begin to see, to realize Nibbana. At that juncture, that's called turning away. Yeah? So at that single consciousness, knowledge of change of lineage, that is where they call it, because you change from a Puthujjana into enlightenment, into the first Sotapanna, or next time from a Sotapanna, you change your lineage into a Sakadagami, and so on until Arahant. So change of lineage happens once. Path consciousness happens once. But fruition consciousness, it can repeat again and again, although we don't call it Anupassana, because its object is Nibbana. Its object is Nibbana. Because Nibbana, we don't see the arising and passing away. So sometimes that's how they interpret the whole thing, but we don't have to go through the technicality of all those things. Now I say this, tomorrow you forget. When I say this one, the first topic, first part, second part, part 1, part 2, all everything forget. Not only you forget, I also forget. I thought these talks is I thought of giving 3 talks only, you know. I thought of giving 3 talks only, and introduction only I thought sekali compact everything and then let your makan already. But you keep on expanding, you know. But anyway, let us get back. Let us get back to that one, principle of insight again. Let me go and let me close this thing. Okay, let me close this thing. All right. Then we go sharing screen. Okay. Now, we have seen all the 18 insight, more or less. Whether you can remember or not is actually not really that important. But at least what I overhear, that when we are sharing this topic of 18 principle of insight, is to let you understand that there are different modes of noting. When you're not an object, there are different ways of noting an object, or how the object appear to you in different ways, you know. And then when you look at it at different ways, then they got different names for it. Perhaps some of you may have gone through, and some of you are very new. And if you are very new, this type of topic may not be so interesting to all of you. It's only when you have some degree of Vipassana meditation, these things become, this type of topic becomes interesting and actually actually expand conceptually to you, inferential insight to you. Sometimes it's good, in that sense. But nevertheless, all these 18 principles of insight is only based on this anicca, dukkha, anatta. So this is on the Visuddhimagga Mahattika sub commentary. Visuddhimagga is already commenting on the sutta. Then you have Visuddhimagga Atthakata, which be sub-commentary for the Visuddhimagga. Mahattika means sub-commentary of that means the sub-commentary commenting on the commentary of the Visuddhimagga. How many layers going down? So it says this, although there are 7 different kinds of contemplation and 18 different kinds of insight that should be contemplated, they are all included in the 3 contemplations of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and non-self. Thus, due to the power of these 3 contemplation, are the accumulating point of insight or vipassana. So in other words, whatever that you have learned about anicca, dukkha, anatta in the past, you are correct, Yeah, perfectly all right. So right now, we just expand it a little bit. Right now, when we go meditate, we just compact it again. It's just only anicca. If you cannot remember all of them, remember this is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Now, another thing about this topic also, one of the thing that I remember, when after sharing this topic, is to give you the understanding that enlightenment process or the path towards enlightenment has to go through all this anicca, dukkha, and anatta process again and again. And that is a very important understanding. Because when you are out there, many people talk about enlightenment, Buddhist enlightenment or Nibbana in that sense, even in the Theravada sense. Whatever you want to take, whatever knowledge you want to take is up to you. But my firmness, my stand is over here, that Nibbana, the realization of Nibbana, you have to go through this anicca, dukkha, anatta in so many different ways, so many different modes. Nowadays, recently I read in the internet, if you have disconnected from your mind and body, you disconnect mind and body only, 好死了, Nibbana 了. That also written in this one. It's already Nibbana. They explain it to Nibbana. Enlightenment, even sometimes people say enlightenment, you don't have to go through all these vipassana. You go through the jhana, first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth jhana. You come out from the eighth jhana, then you as if like the 1,000 lotus leaf, 1,000 lotus like a flower, open up the petals of a lotus, and then you are either anagami or you are already arahant. No anicca, dukkha, anatta. Again, sometimes, as I said, some people, that day I tell you that counter one, counting how many arising and passing away just by looking at that counter you see, after you're sleepy. So that type of method, what they did for Nibbana, is that they meditate. After, as I said, them 3 days, they don't sleep. After that, their mind very sleepy. You sleep, then you wake up. 好死了. This time, Nibbana 了. 搞了. So easy, There are many things that is going through, but it's up to you whether you want to go through all these things or not. So my job talking about this thing is to make sure that the understanding of realization of Nibbana has to go through this anicca, dukkha, anatta. So this anicca, dukkha, anatta, you can look at it as 16 insight knowledge. Fine. You can look at it as 18 principle insight also can, or you want to look it as purification, the 7 purification of, in like in the Majjhima Nikaya, one of the sutta. That also can, because that also is a kind of like in a sense of progressive. So different ways. You can look at from it from a different angle of how go through realization of Nibbana takes place. So therefore, to make it simple, this anicca, dukkha, anatta will be the path towards your enlightenment. So let us go back to the screen again. Screenshot again. So this is the last thing that before we go. Now, what are the sources over here that you can able to look for more things that if you want to read? You can look at Visuddhimagga, path of purification, but that is not much to read. Patisambhida Magga, path of discrimination. If you can able to find the book, well and good, but not much of this one. Third one, Manual of Insight. The Manual of Insight. Here, the Manual of Insight, this is from Mahasi Sayadaw, but this one you have to buy, Wisdom publication. And it's very good because it talks about the Manual of Insight or Manual of Vipassana. It takes a lot of things. He even talk about this 18 principle of insight. When I start this talk on this 18 principle of insight, I didn't know that there was 18 principle of insight in the Manual of Insight. After about second talk only, then only I open it. Make my job simpler. Make my job simpler. But nevertheless, whatever that I've shared to you, some is of course text, some is experiential from myself or experience from the yogis, So it only when you have these personal experiences, then only you see the different contemplation in a different light. There's another one called 7 Contemplation of Insight. Then this is from Sri Jnanarama Mahatera, but of course they also passed away already. It's quite a good book actually. So both 3 and 4 is a good for you to read. So here we end on this 18 principle of insight. Okay? But we are not finished yet for tonight. I need you to give me for 10 minutes or 15 minutes something may be interested to some of you, may not be so interesting to some of you. It all depends. It all depends. So hold on, I need to share again. I need to clear this thing. And where is my... Okay, hold on. Let me exit this. Save, and then I close. All right, close this thing. Okay, now. All right. Beginning of a retreat already right now. Things are beginning for... All right, what I'm going to tell you right now is there's a number of retreats. It's not online retreat. This is residential retreat already. That means you got to bring yourself there already. So there are a number of retreats which I'm going to share afterwards. Now, the first retreat that is we're going to have, or this one is my retreat at least. This is my retreat that we're going to have. Is the first one will be in Kuching. It's on the 24th April to 8th May. 2 weeks retreat. Now, this is a meditation center, so don't worry about it. If you want to go there, then you see, no need to describe anything. So again here, right now, for all retreats now are limited numbers. Limited numbers, that means that we can only able to cater for 12 female and 2 male. So there's a person, Sister Ling, that if you want to know some information, you can contact her. But if you want to go, I guess that you're going to get it very fast because this one is next Sunday only, This is next Sunday only. Next Sunday, still they have 2 places for male, 2 places for female. If you don't want to come, well, it's perfectly all right. It make my life easier. They're perfectly okay. Yeah. So we still got 2 more male, 2 more female. Sometimes in the retreat, if you this one, they in the middle, they kind of like they pull out. So this is one retreat. So if you want to go, you take note of this. Then the next one is not a retreat. Next one is from Buddhist Wisdom Center, but there's an online Zoom talk. We're gonna have an online talk on the Vesak Eve, 14 May. 15 is the Vesak. So 14 we have this one. Now the time is to be confirmed because we still need to do some arrangement here and then. Not only talk, only Vesak Eve, sometimes they got candlelight lah, they got chanting a little bit here and there lah, things like that. So time to be confirmed. So if you want to know anything, you ask Brother Lily Kim. So the mobile number is there. So we're going to use the same Peace House ID and password for this type of Zoom meeting. And also, of course, we're going to live it through Facebook and also to YouTube, if everything is going well. So we're going to have an online talk on this stuff. So I'll be talking also. I have no idea what I'm going to talk yet. So don't ask me about the topic. Now I'm just thinking of how to gautim this one first, the first retreat first. Because after 2 years, I also karat. The yogi is also very rusty also already. Karat everywhere. So this one. Now, feel like just give talk on the online is so much more easier rather than go and give talk in the retreat center. But nevertheless, but the next one, you may be interested also. Next one. All right. Next one will be in Bodhiyarama. KKB. This will be the first retreat. And we're going to open up this retreat. We have been closed already for the past 2.5 years, or 2 years more actually. So we're going to have a 2 weeks retreat here, 16 May to 31st May. Venue, of course, the Bodhiyarama in KKB. Now here again, the approximately 20 or 6 male. It all depends. Sometimes it can be 18 female or 8 male. Or it can be more female, less male. It's all depending. And right now, it's also depending because there's a number of reasons. Afterwards, we'll talk about it. So, you see, previously, we can take up to 40 over yogis. But of course, we are still in the pandemic or endemic. This one, we need to, all retreats, we need to limit our numbers. Okay, so either you contact with this mobile number. This mobile number either sometimes with Sister Kim Len, sometimes with Sister Elsie. This is the Selangor Vipassana registration number. But registration does not start until 21st April. They put there 8 p.m. Okay, so this is all up to you to this one if you want to go. The next one is connected to this retreat will be Sayadaw Asabachara. This is not my retreat, but because I put it over here, for the reason is that there is a continuation of retreat for 1 month already. 2 weeks and 2 weeks. So there's only on the first, the teacher comes in or then starts on the second. So there will be, in a way, there are 4 weeks of retreat in Selangor Vipassana. So this time, we're going to iron out a number of things. This is going to be a first retreat, so you got to bear up with a little bit of dukkha physically. Now, during this time, during this time, Selangor Vipassana, the Bodhiyarama right now, is going through a renovation. It's quite a major renovation in the dining hall and the office upstairs. So during this time, they hope to finish. They hope to finish. But looking at it, I don't think it will able to finish. So where are you all going to eat like that? So most probably, if we cannot use the dining hall, we may use the ladies' old dorm there. There's a small hall. We may able to eat there, and of course, we see all these stuff things. So just to remind you that the dining hall may not be able to be used at that time. All right. So this is for Selangor Vipassana. So the next retreat that I have, this one is already full. Sorry. This one is Nalanda Buddhist Society. Now, this Nalanda Buddhist Society, this is only 5 days retreat. This is only 5 days. Now, this is 5 days. This is a beginner's retreat. This is also at KKB Kuala Kubu Baru, but this is Wisdom Park, maybe 10 minutes by driving from Bodhiyarama. A nice place. But here we are going for maximum 40 yogis. I forgot how many male, how many females, but it's already all full. Right? And this one is for Nalanda members only. Their members is a lot. So they requested there. So anyway, this is a beginner's retreat. This is totally like for 95% of them or 90% of them, they have not touched any retreat before. They're going to start like how to walk, how to sit, how to label and all that thing from kindergarten level up. So this retreat is already full. Okay? All right. So y'all don't have to look at that. That one is under society. The next retreat will be in Peace, not Peace House. This retreat will be at Santarama Buddhist Hermitage. Now, this one will be from the 18th June to 3rd July. 15 days, 2 weeks plus, 15 days. It's a Saturday until a 3rd July, Sunday. So this one will be in Balik Pulau, Penang. Now the Santarama Buddhist Hermitage, I was staying there. And many of you donated for the renovation. But the problem is the renovation, I'm not sure whether it's going to finish or not too, because it's quite an extensive renovation. But according to the monk there, who's in charge, Praho, he says that most probably will finish. The thing is that we are not sure because it's renovating on the female quarters. And also the female quarters, because usually there are more females there. So the female quarters, as I said, approximately 15 to 20 female. And we are still not sure because once only the places is able to stay and can use for lodging, then our Peace House committee will go there to look how many places and do all kinds of everything. All right. Now, that one, because of the renovation, is going through. So you can contact Sister May Ong. Sister May Ong is our treasurer. Sister Hunding, who do all this this Zoom right now, this Zoom online, she is the secretary. So just in case you cannot get May Ong, you get Sister Hunling also. Okay, but it's better to get May Ong for your this one. For talks and all that, you can ask Sister Hunling. So as I said, this one is ongoing renovation. So that will be until 3rd of July already. So Wasa. Wasa I have no idea yet. Okay. Here, Wasa, I may be in overseas, but we are still, with the organizers there, they are still, going through all the organizing things, see whether everything can go through or not. So Wasa, I cannot promise you anything yet. If overseas cannot go through, maybe I'll just stay back in Malaysia, then we'll see what we can do. Anyway, we will inform you all also. Later part. Later part. Now, these are my requirements. Now, if you want to come for your retreat, I preferably you have a booster shot, because here we have a lot of elderly people, So it also protect a lot of people. So it's better to have your booster shot. This is my requirement. At least you must have booster shot. Now, here you must begin on the first day of retreat, because all these retreat above, except for Nalanda, there's only 2 weeks retreat. There's no arriving on other days. You have to come on the first day. You come on the second day, we are sorry already. The first day itself, you have to arrive, because during that time, we need to do all kinds of testing, arrangements here and there. So once you are there, the yogis goes in, that means the yogi cannot go out until they leave the retreat, because we don't want the yogis to go out and then they bring everything, because we are staying together. Okay? We are staying together, and we are staying together after 3 or 4 days. Maybe we can remove our mask and maybe we can meditate together. Maybe, I know it all depends on organizer. So we have to register. I do not take walk-in right now. You suka, you come, you suka. No, yes, I'll just walk you out. Simple. Registration, I will give it to those people who want to finish the 2 weeks retreat. Now, if there's not enough place, then we give it to people 10 days. My minimum is 10 days. So hopefully I'll do the whole retreat. Now, here during this time also, we want you to surrender your mobile phones also. But that one also depending on retreat organizers. If the place can able to keep your phone safely, then okay. If not, you have to keep yourself. Now again, here the attire, I also need to explain. Some of us do not know how to come for a retreat. They come in all kinds of clothing. So usually we have a plain white, a blouse or a t-shirt with proper sleeve, things like this. Bottom, again, we have plain white or single dark color, either pants or skirt, and at least cover below knee. And usually, for meditation, it's good to use white color, because less mosquito will come to you, and also long pants so that mosquito don't bite you so many places. So this one is something like that. I wrote about an article on how to attire in my blog spot many years back. Still, if you want to see, you can go ahead and have a look. Now, online retreat requirements will be up to the retreat organizers, but this is what they are going to do. You can have an RTK antigen test. When and how many times, that all depends. Of course, mask, depending how long we're going to go there. Of course, the social distancing, we still have to follow. Ventilation, we still need. This is important because we are sitting close together, but because of we are not talking, which is very good. Only the teacher talk, then the rest of the yogi meditate. So if with that, the chances are quite low, very low actually. With the proper ventilation, they're very low. So again, we have to go through the government SOP regulation according to that time, according to that particular time. So number 6 is the number of COVID cases. Now, here in Malaysia and also perhaps in Indonesia, we expect that after the Raya, the cases is going to shoot up again. Right now in Penang, as I know, in Penang there are 300 plus per day. Still people kena here and there. But if the COVID cases go higher, then we may cancel it the last minute, everything. Okay, this is just to remind you that everything, we may still cancel the retreat the last minute if situation is not good. Okay, so now this one, you're going to be a problem if those yogis are flying from even in outstation or flying from overseas. if sometimes you may need to burn the ticket if we cancel the retreat. So you got to prepare for it. Then you got to prepare, or maybe you have the type of ticket that you can able to change or whatsoever, or I don't know. So for those who are flying outstation or overseas, this thing may happen. All right. This time retreat cancel, and then last time when 2 years ago yogis was stuck in the Kota Tinggi with me, and then when they wanted to fly back, this one cannot fly, that time cannot fly, buy the ticket. Wow, very leceh, very mafan that time. So this one, as I said, retreat can cancel at the last minute depending on the cases of this one. Now online Zoom Dhamma talk during a residential retreat, that means doing a residential retreat, then this one also depending on whether the 4G coverage. And usually the retreats are outskirts of town. And outskirts of town, the 4G is very bad. Except maybe one place only, Except maybe one place only. That one also I have to look and see. But if yes, let's say if there is a talk, I will announce it in the Facebook page. So these are some of the things that what we are going through next week onwards, that the retreat is going to start until more or less until June. More or less until June. So you are interested, you can look into it. So here we got Peace House, then we got Nalanda, and then the Selangor Vipassana, and then we have this Buddhist Wisdom Center, and then next week we'll start with the Bodhi Vipassana group. Okay, so this is on the announcement on the retreat. All right. So hopefully all this retreat now will turn into different types of anicca or dukkha or anattanupassana. Or bye. Then not only that, y'all can gain enlightenment. Bye. Okay, now some of you may not able to go for the retreat, right? Perhaps. But if you want to contribute by say financially, towards the retreat, and then it may be you may talk to the organizers for it. You want to contribute financially to help them for all this retreat, whatever requirement is good. Who knows? Maybe they meditate, they gain enlightenment there. Oh, your merits will be wholesale already. That time. All right, it's quite late. It's already almost 10:10. Yes, then just to remind you all, the Q&A session is on Monday. So send your questions to Sister Hun Ling. Okay.